Now for a review of what's making the headlines in the papers this morning, let's bring in Arise analyst Constance Ikwoku. Good morning, Dr. Constance.
A wonderful morning to you, Yolanda.
Yes, thank you. Good
to see you today.
Yeah.
You're not alone today. Welcome back, Charles.
Thank you, Dr. Constance.
Not comfort. I thought you were going to say comfort again. Good to see you anyway. And
nice to see you too.
Yeah, Emmanuel, thanks for joining us. We know you lost your mom. Our condolences to your family.
Accept our condolences.
Thank you. And we appreciate you coming out this morning.
Thank you.
Okay. Emmanuel is a columnist with Vanguard newspaper, and he will be discussing the papers with us this morning. Hello there and welcome to the program. We'll begin with This Day. Breaking news from This Day newspaper today. We have Tinubu sacks Kyari. Akin-Yelure appoints Bayo Ojulari as new GCEO of NNPCL. Rumors have been swirling since last year that Kyari was on his way out. Now a major shakeup has swept through NNPCL, and this is a significant development. Emmanuel, your take here?
Well, the first take is that this news came out early this morning, and one must commend This Day for taking up the story. It shows the technological advancement of the newspaper. Now, coming out early this morning, I don't know why it took the president a midnight action to sack Kyari. This action, the fate of Kyari has for long been in the media, and especially because of the controversies that have trailed his tenureship of the NNPC. Because under him, there was much promise, but little the deliverables were not as expected. The replacement coming from outside the sector is bound to bring concern to a number of people, because the replacement, Bayo Ojulari or so from Ojulari from Kwara State, is from outside the system. There's going to be some concern as to his readiness to fit into the vision that had been laid by the outgoing board. One is also, to some extent too, some people were also politically, that Akin-Yelure, who was President Tinubu's sort of godfather in Mobile, has also been removed, because Akin-Yelure is known to be one of the president's, or perhaps one of the closest to him. One expects the new changes. There's concern as to which this new change is going to bring about the transformation that the president envisions. The president, we understand, has given this new board he has given them some targets. But for me, surprisingly, one of the targets given to them is to bring oil production to 2 million barrels per day.
Okay. Well, I mean, there are major expectations from the new team. You are correct that the president has given them a lot of targets, and some of them is that the president wants to see an increased investment in that sector from $30 billion by 2027 to $60 billion by 2030. He also wants crude oil refining to increase dramatically in the country from 200,000 barrels per day by 2027 to 500,000 by 2030. So it's giving them serious matching orders to improve efficiency in the industry and in NNPCL and make sure that these targets are met. We will be watching. But tied to that story in This Day is another one at the top at the paper. There we have $5 billion. Africa Energy Bank gains momentum with contributions from Nigeria, Angola, and Ghana. The bank aims to finance oil and gas projects across the continent. It has 18 members, which apart from Nigeria, Ghana, and Angola include Algeria, Benin, Ivory Coast, Equatorial Guinea, DR Congo, etc. We know that multinational oil companies have gradually been divesting from this sector, creating a funding gap that needs to be breached. So while some may say or may not be enthusiastic about more spending and investment in the oil sector because of environmental concerns, I mean, what this shows, this new bank shows, is the ability of African countries to muster financing that is needed by Africans for Africans, isn't it, Charles?
We keep saying this, that Africa has all it needs to deal with its issues, including what we have here. I've seen, the work the African Development Bank has done, especially in the area of providing power across the continent. However, we have that problem, the problem of the leadership, the problem of political will, the problem of corruption, so to say. So if we are able to put our house in order, and we keep saying this over and over again, we can do it if we put our minds to it. And well, this, I believe, is a project that is worth pursuing, especially in terms of investment in the energy sector. We have it here. All we need is a bit of collaboration among African nations and stop looking outwards for handouts from the global economic giants. We can get to where they are.
Well said. Let's see Daily Independent. Here we have telcos target satellite services to counter Starlink dominance. These leading telecom operators are said to be putting measures in place to boost their operations through satellite service, which has become a threat from SpaceX's Starlink. I mean, they better do, especially with all the poor services from those companies. It's a competition, and Elon Musk Starlink may certainly become a major disruptor. But also, Emmanuel, it's all, or let me come to Yolanda, it's all in the options provided and the quality of service. That's what competition in an open market is about.
Yes, I'd have to agree with you on that. And I think, this initiative reflects a broader trend in the telecommunications industry. And I embrace it. It's a good thing. But at the same time, there are lots of concerns. We've had a constant breakdown with our telcos in the country. And, I have a lot of questions concerning what the future would look like. To point out and say Starlink dominance specifically is very worrisome, because does that mean that there aren't any other competitors in the field?
So what they are saying is that they want to step up their services. I mean, we have telecoms companies. Starlink is new and it's coming hard, strong into African countries. And so some of the companies are already using them, or individuals or private companies are already using them, attesting to the quality of the services. So that's why I said, it's a market, it's a competition. If you do better, people want, companies that give them what they need and what they want. That's what it's going to be.
But may I add something? Starlink is coming out from outside. It's a investment in the local economy is almost zero.
Absolutely.
And that is what the local competitors are complaining about. That Starlink, with its advantage in satellite technology, is able to provide internet service without any investment or in the local economy, unlike the local telcos who have invested billions of dollars in the local economy, and yet they are not able to make the kind of service, provide the kind of service that that Starlink is providing. So this is the initiative to embrace satellites, low satellite, to embrace low satellite providers in providing internet service is a welcome development.
Exactly. So it means that this kind of challenges create innovation. If they have to embrace satellite services, so be it. I think that's what, you are saying the same thing essentially. Okay, let's look at The Guardian. Controversy over leaked tribunal judgment as Edo government, APC, PDP claim victory. The election petition tribunal is expected to deliver judgment today. But copies of the tribunal's purported judgment flooded the internet yesterday, indicating a 2-to-1 split in the decision of the tribunal. According to this leaked document, 2 judges affirmed Edo Governor Monday Okpewolo, while a 3rd judge ordered INEC to issue a fresh certificate of return to PDP's Igodalo. Emmanuel, what a nightmare situation for the tribunal, a leaked document. This shouldn't be happening.
It shouldn't, but it's not surprising. This is coming from Edo State, the heartbeat of the nation. They say when you are entering Edo, your heart begins to beat.
Interesting. Interesting analysis.
I've never heard that one.
No, it's a heartbeat of, anytime you are entering Edo, your heart begins to beat as it were. So and this is happening. And mark you, this is not totally surprising given the political dynamics in Edo State. You see, Edo State is perhaps one of the few states where you've had a sitting government where an opposition party continues to win. When Adams Oshomole was there, under the leadership of Chief Dan Obi as the PDP chairman, the PDP won consistently the presidential and the National Assembly elections. So you see, Edo State is not, Edo State is, the dynamics there, the political temperature there, it's one that it's fervent. But for me, all this, we have to pass the buck to INEC. INEC has to come and because I've seen in this, there's little reference from that leaked judgment, if it is true at all. There's little reference to the conduct of INEC. INEC should be the ones to defend elections. If you conducted an election, come and defend the results you announced. But mark you, if I may add something too, there's some fear too in some circles that if this leak is true, that the judges between yesterday and today could have gone to change their whatever they have written.
Well, let's see what the judges say today, since it's going to be delivered anyway. Okay, on to Daily Trust. FG borrows 13.21 trillion naira from World Bank in 20 months. Fresh $1.1 billion loan approved in 1 week as debt profile hits 142 trillion naira. The most damning part of this report is where it says that multilateral loans are vulnerable to corruption. While these loans are said to be targeted at several interventions in various sectors, we seem to be in a bind. Charles, I was going to say. I mean, the institutions have us where they want us. Perpetually. It's a
cycle we have been through over and over and over again. I remember when we, I think back in 1999, at the dawn of the return of democracy, President Olusegun Obasanjo was able to secure debt forgiveness for Nigeria. All our debts were wiped out. And then over the years, we have started accumulating them over and over and over again. And now we are sinking under the burden of debt. I know about a situation where our oil has been sold ahead in order for us to be able to borrow. And, you know, all this borrowing over and over and over again, the economic dynamics of it all is what I just do not understand. We borrow, and then what do we do with the funds? We don't account for it. That's the problem.
That's why it talked here, the report talked here about being vulnerable to corruption.
Absolutely. Yes, exactly. But that's our Achilles heel,
right?
Corruption. So we borrow these funds, and then the purpose for which they are being borrowed, we don't get to see. There is no accountability. And at the end of the day, no benefit at all. It just finds its way into private pockets, and then we go borrowing again. See, when you do the same thing over and over again and expect different results, that is absolute madness. There's no other definition.
Okay, quickly on to Daily Sun. Natasha defies government police, storms Kogi. We can see the photo of the crowd of her supporters on that front page who came out to see her. She flew in a chopper yesterday. Yolanda, what a way to arrive.
Oh, yes. I noticed. I was very shocked because I thought she had arrived by road. So when we took the report and it was saying that, you know, she had arrived by chopper, I mean, it makes sense because the roads are blocked. But I'm sure that also garnered a lot of attention. What stands out for me the most is, you know, part of the speech that she gave. She gave some very weighty allegations of how she was meant to be, you know, unalived in Kogi State. And I just wonder if this is the right approach.
Yeah, allegations. Let's actually, since you mentioned allegations, let's pull up the Punch, because I think they have it there. In the Punch, it says, recall, Akpabio Ododo tackle Natasha over assassination claim. So this is already a big story. She's claiming they want to assassinate her. I mean, this is weighty, like
Yes.
like you mentioned, Yolanda. Thanks for bringing that up.
Hey, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Absolutely weighty to mention that, and you know, with she'd need to back this up. She would really need to back this up. A lot happened, you know, having that rally and just going against what was put in order. Sometimes, whether you are right or you are wrong, if you show a certain sense of, you know, not going with the rules, it makes it difficult for people to stand on your side. And I think the lines are becoming more and more blurred. We don't know what the fight is anymore. It was, you know, the seat in the Senate, and then it became the sexual harassment. Everything is becoming blurred, and now the accusations of the assassination, I'm not sure where I stand with this at the moment.
You know, she was actually trying to make a point. That saga about her recall, you know, all those signatures and the numbers that were required to recall her. She said, okay, fine. If truly those are the members of my constituents who are seeking for my recall, let's see this in real terms. So the roads are blocked, but she actually flies into her constituents, and you can see the multitude that came out to welcome her.
Yes.
That was the point she was actually trying to make.
When I was watching it yesterday, you know, when the chopper was landed, I saw, you know, people under the hot sun running. I mean, both people that knew what was going on and what was not going on. And what I saw was poverty, you know, and how people are pawns in the game that politicians play against one another. Anyway, let's see the international headlines this morning. Daily Graphic: President gets tough on flooding, orders demolition of structures on water courses. Then on to Citizen newspaper: there's still no budget compromise. MP is divided on whether alternative proposal is needed and whether budget should be sent back for the removal of proposed VAT hike. Daily Mail this morning: Trump's tariffs threaten crisis for reefs. Chancellor's headroom to be wiped out just 1 week after cuts to balance the books. I mean, it's obvious that attempts by the UK to negotiate special deals based on a long-standing relationship with the US has not come through. They are going to be slapped with tariffs like other nations, and experts are predicting this will be a knockout for UK's financial plans. In fact, it will make the country poorer, reports say. If you want to jump in, Emmanuel.
Well, the special relationship between the UK and the United States does not seem to exist in the eyes of Trump. But even people are becoming more concerned whether Trump, in his efforts to make America great again, wants to bring down the whole world.
He calls it Liberation Day for America.
Yes, Liberation Day. We are waiting for the initiatives he is aiming to bring out. But whatever, because like you are slapping sanctions on Canada, it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't add up. Even Canada that supplies you a lot of your oil energy requirements. So one does not know. I think President Trump, even those who support him, may be asking they need to re-examine. I don't want to say re-examine his head.
All right, more turmoil. Financial Times, our last paper this morning: investors flock to gold as fears mount on eve of Trump tariff announcement. This is the biggest inflow since the COVID-19 pandemic. Gold, as we know, spikes in times of uncertainty as anxious investors seek safe havens. I mean, the heaviest uncertainty lies with Trump's escalating trade war. No one knows where this is going. It just has the markets and the country scrambling. Yolanda, this simply erodes confidence on a global scale, doesn't it?
Yes, and from time immemorial, gold has always been the reliable investment. And I think that it's good that we're being reminded of how powerful and strong it is to actually, you know, put your trust and hope in gold. The Trump tariffs have been going crazy. I think yesterday we took a report that spoke about, is it 25 to 50% on cars that are exported from other countries. And that is completely ridiculous, maybe in the hopes that,
well,
you know...
to you, Yolanda, to him, not so.
Absolutely, to him, not so.
Yes.
But I'm speaking on behalf of the everyday person. If someone wants to acquire a car, you know, a Tesla is not the most affordable car to purchase. And so to bring up those sorts of tariffs with those sorts of percentages, it's bizarre and ridiculous.
All right. I mean, Trump says that it might hurt in the short term, but in the midterm, he's trying to bring back the jobs to America, manufacturing to America that has been outsourced over the years. We'll see how that goes. Thank you so much, Emmanuel Aziken, columnist with Vanguard newspaper, for coming this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Constance, for leading today's review as usual. And that's all we have time for here on Daybreak. I'm Charles Eruka. It's goodbye from me.
And I'm Yolanda Robert. Please do keep it here on Arise News. The morning show is next. Goodbye.